Hey, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing another book wrap-up video, but this time it's all the books that I read during this quarantine, and I'm super excited because I have new characters that I fall in love with. I discovered 2 new genres. Oh, also this is my makeshift mic. I know that in the last video my audio is super bad. I hope that you enjoy this video, and I'm super excited to show everything. These are all the books that I read. I'm not going to be reviewing everything just because I don't think it's worth talking about the books that I don't like, but I will give you how many stars I give it, which is not that high, but like still. First book that I want to review is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara, and yes, I did review it in my last video, but I spent too long just like being sad about it because I just finished it. A Little Life is a story about 4 men, Willem, Malcolm, JB, and Jude, and we follow them from when they're in college to when they're super old. And everyone is drawn to Jude, who has gone through some type of unspeakable trauma as a kid, and that affects how he interacts with people. And they've always been aware that he's kind of introverted, and although he is charming and enigmatic, he's not quite 100% social in a way, and no one wants to press on his past. And slowly the book unravels what happens to him. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars because it definitely tugged on the heartstrings. It was completely heartbreaking. The end, there were moments even in between where you're like, oh my god, this can't happen, right? I didn't give it 5 stars because I think it was too long. 814 pages long. And it does really well is how she writes the characters. You end up liking each and every one of them despite their highs and their lows, despite their tendency to be really spiteful to one another. You understand how their relationship grows and things like that. But one of my biggest qualms with this book was that I did not like some of the details of abuse that Jude goes through. She keeps going and she keeps adding all these more horrifying, torturous things, and you're kind of wondering if it's just for shock factor or just to make up for the book being so long. So, A Little Life, 4 out of 5 stars. The next book that I want to talk about is Perfume by Patrick Süskind, and this is a German classic. We follow the main character, Grenouille Jean-Baptiste, I think his full name, and he was born out of wedlock, and as soon as he was born, he was basically thrown away, and he is described as a very ugly character. He has like a sort of power. He can smell the best of smells, every single smell, and he can catalog them in his brain and make the most beautiful perfumes out of it. And he becomes so well crafted at this perfumery expertise that he goes on a search for the most beautiful smelling thing, and that beautiful smelling thing is innocent. And it's a story of murder, basically, if you can kind of get where I'm going, because I'm not sure if that's a spoiler. Why I wouldn't give it any higher than a 3 out of 5 is because I'm not really into very descriptive books, and this is so descriptive because the only sense that he has going for him is basically his scent. I do give props to Patrick Süskind, the author, for being able to write in such a detailed and crafted way. I would say that the prose is really good. It's just not up my alley. The pacing was kind of slow. I didn't like it, and for such a short book, you want the action to happen quite fast. At one point, he just hides in a cave for like 10 years, but I did appreciate it enough to talk about it. So yeah, Perfume by Patrick Süskind, 3 out of 5. Oh, the next book that I read that I'm super excited to talk about is Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky. I gave this, what did I give this? Oh, I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. Kate Reese is a single mother, and one night she runs away from her abusive boyfriend with her son Christopher Reese, and they move to this small town called Millgrove, and they start a new life there, and it's all fine until one day Christopher goes missing in the woods for 6 days. He does reemerge, and the only thing that he says about those 6 days is that he must build this tree house in the woods before Christmas or everyone will die. Although it is very long, which is my only problem with it, the pacing itself is quite good 500 pages in, but then the last 200 pages become so repetitive. The twists in it are very, very well done. The feeling that I had when I was reading it was so like Stranger Things. Small towns, there's a prominent sheriff character, there's a prominent mother character, there's a group of boys that are involved. Very much like if Stephen King's, I think I wrote this on my story, but if Stephen King wrote Stranger Things, but instead of like there being another world or something like that, it's just an imaginary world. Wink, wink. If you're looking for a kind of small town thriller that is not too horror-y, like it's not too scary, nostalgic in a way, I think this is good because it feels very timeless. Imaginary Friend, I would give a 4 out of 5, and I think I would read it again. So the next book that I read, and I'm super excited for, is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Let me preface this by saying that I have never been a fantasy reader. I've never read Harry Potter, but the Grishaverse, my mind, I love it. I love this book. 5 out of 5, hands down. The characters were either my age or younger, like the oldest character is my age. So I was a bit nervous on whether I will relate to it because this is YA fantasy, and I just thought I'm too old now, it's too late, but it's never too late to get into fantasy. There are 6 outcasts in this town, and they're part of like their own gang, and they just do small heists, robberies, and things like that. And their leader, Kaz Brecker, is basically a criminal prodigy. He gets an offer to break into the ice court, which is the hardest place to break into, and they have to extract something from there. And he gathers up his troop, and they go on this impossible heist. Dynamic of their relationship with each other changes as well, because some of them have a past with each other, and even though they're like 17, 16, 15, 18, you know, that range, they're quite mature. I love the characterization. I thought like each character had something going on for them. At first, I didn't like Kaz because, you know, nobody initially likes an anti-hero, but then I just found him so like cute, even though all he does is like break people's fingers and things like that. I'm gonna talk too much about it because I could go on forever. Yeah, I love this book. Like, I love it with all my heart. So yeah, 5 out of 5. So excited for the show. I saw who's playing Kaz. Okay, let me just say, I like who is playing Kaz and Inez. I don't like who they casted for Matthias and Nina. So yeah, I love this book, and I think I went on this book for 9 minutes. The last book that I have, I know it's another fantasy, and this book is literally like brown because I bought it 3 years ago-ish, I'm not sure, and I never read it, and I'm not sure why, but it is A Court of Thorns and Roses. I know I am late. Sarah J. Maas has been around for a while. I want to say that I am now in this fan base. Thorns and Roses is about this girl, Feyre, and she's human. And one day she's hunting in the woods and she kills something, not knowing what that something actually is. And she is taken to be imprisoned in this court. Her captor, Tamlin, is a fairy, a high fae. He's a high lord in a way, and he takes care of the spring court, which is where she is imprisoned. She slowly gets attracted to the world of the fae. Let me just tell you, I'm not sure if this is going to be a spoiler, because I feel like even just talking about certain characters are spoilers, so if you don't want to know, I guess just click out. I was reading it, and when Feyre got captured, I was like, this is so easy. Where's the struggle, you know? When she went to live with Tamlin and things like that in the court, everything just came so easy to her. It was as if she was on vacation. Like, her life being captured was better than her life at home. I didn't like that for the first half of the book. Where did the conflict kick in? What is the conflict? Because even she starts to get along with Tamlin quite well. No, that's a spoiler. When the plot is revealed, my mind, I was mind blown. I was like, whoa, this makes so much sense. Like, why it was so easy for them to like get on. The stuff that happens between Tamlin and Feyre is raunchy. When I found out the plot, I was like, eh. Let me tell you, Reason sounds good. Yeah, I thought it was a very good book. It's definitely not young adult, I will tell you that. I think it definitely is new adult because there are some spicy scenes. So yeah, I love this book. I can't wait for the second and third one. Books that I read. Sad Girls by Langleaf, I give a 2 out of 5. The Cheerleaders by Cara Thomas, I also give 2 out of 5. But that's it for the video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope it was more energetic and better quality than before, and I'm super excited to continue reading all these series and giving you guys updates on what I love about them and the characters that I'm falling in love with. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next video.